Hi, I'm Samantha Biddy, sexual health and consent educator. And before I dive into this emergency COVID-19 phase 3 PSA, I want to wish everybody a happy Caravana weekend. I know that it is virtual this year. We cannot be on the road, but my hope is that I will still hear the sweet sounds of soca on the air because everyone will still be having a time, still celebrating our heritage and our liberation, really. So happy Caravana weekend. I hope everyone has a safe and happy time, especially Trinities, but also everyone. All right, where I am, which is Toronto, as of the stroke of midnight, we are entering phase 3 of our reopening of the public space, of the economy, etc., restaurants, parks, And since our public health agencies, with the exception of British Columbia, have yet to issue meaningful, geographically relevant, safer sex and dating guidelines, I just want to touch on a few clarifications and a few tips so that we can help to keep each other as safe or safer as possible. You notice I said geographically relevant information. That's because there are many different environmental factors that come into our understanding of the spread and transmission of COVID-19. But one thing we know across regions, especially in summer, is that people want to be out. They want to be dating, they want to be kissing, they want to be having sex. And I see you all on these patios. I see you out at the park. I may have even been out at the park. So we need to start having a conversation about what does reopening mean as it relates to sex and relationships. It doesn't mean we're reopening the coochie. Not as open. It's not as open. There's some stuff we need to know. Phase 3, or whatever it's called in your region, is essentially like when public health is like, yeah, we flatten the curve, which means reported cases are lower, testing is higher, and the healthcare system could sustain a rise in cases. It doesn't mean that COVID-19 is gone. It doesn't mean there's no longer community spread. It just means it's lower. Even though we can gather in larger numbers and even indoors, does not mean that some of the same guidelines do not apply. The guidelines are still to maintain physical distance, wearing masks, washing hands regularly, avoiding touching your face, and not inviting people into your private space who aren't in your bubble of 10. But what about if you want to date? What if you didn't get a quarantine? What if you didn't partner up for the lockdown and you're like, I'm out, I'm loose, it's Leo season? What is it that you can do to practice safer sex as it relates to COVID-19? I know I've done this before and somewhat informally, but we just have more information now. Ish. And as always, to clarify, I am not a medical professional and this is not medical advice. You should be following the guidelines issued by Public Health Canada or your doctor. First things first, you need to make sure that you yourself are educated and informed with the most up-to-date information about COVID-19 relevant to your specific area. And I don't just mean your city, I mean your particular community, whether it's the apartment building you live in or what's happening within your bubble. Get tested. Even if you don't have symptoms, you can go to testing centers almost anywhere and still do a test. It's unpleasant, but it's brief. Knowing your status is not only to put your mind at ease, but it's going to put the mind of a potential partner at ease. The sucky thing with COVID is you can have a negative test and then go out and contract it like on the Uber home. But at least you're able to make decisions with the best information available to you. The last kind of self-centered thing that you can do is know what you yourself are comfortable with. It might mean that you're open to certain types of dating and certain types of physical sexual activities, but not others. We know that the virus can be transmitted through saliva, through feces. It has been found in some semen. So you might not be comfortable with fluid bonding at this time. Just know where you're at so that you can establish those boundaries with a potential partner.